There's paradox in Christianity, just like in Buddhist and Hindu versions of Dharma. But there's also a much more developed account of the times when, as the Heart Sutra says, form is form and emptiness is emptiness. When our egos are getting uncomfortably expanded because there's no thought experiment strong enough to reframe the afflictive bits into something blissful. Amidst that discomfort, Jesus himself is increasingly important as sustenance. Our selves are limited to varying degrees, and Christ is an important part of the mechanics of growth. In Christianity, it's important to remember that the fullest forms of things include and transcend their opposites. The most obvious cases of this will be seen at the resurrection, when life includes and transcends death, and Christ's open wounds seem to argue that healing includes and transcends woundedness. In Mark 9, we have a case of belief including and transcending unbelief. Jesus comes down from the Mount of the Transfiguration. The disciples are dealing with a boy possessed by a mute spirit. Modern conjecture says he might have epilepsy. To me, that's unimportant. What I see is a man who, faced with the chronic illness of his son, whom he loves, has formed some negative core beliefs. Caregiving and hustling to support a disabled son has probably burdened the fellow with negative core beliefs about those unchanging responsibilities. We don't know for sure, but this bloke may well be a gospel example of a forever parent. So it's probably as necessary that the dad unbelieve some of the cynicism associated with the codependence of chronic caregiving, as it is important that he believes some part of him, whether it's Christ the non-self, or Christ the Mahatma, or this very ego is the Christ, whatever the mechanism of that belief, it's probably important for him to believe some part of him has the capacity for the change the situation requires. I can say from experience that there's a point in a journey with chronic stress where I get pretty annoyed with the whininess of my own lower self. Lately, becoming a kind of fellow who can deal with stress as it is, this is more important than expending a bunch of energy in hopes the stresses will cease. Practically, for me personally, to actualize that, I have to both believe that there is one within me, the awareness of whom may yet be in a growth phase, who's capable of flourishing instead of coping, and I have to unbelieve all of the distractions telling me I'm too limited to basically function. So the knowing, unknowing, or believing, unbelieving paradox isn't theoretical or ethereal. More than anything, it's the kind of exercise that helps me to deal with a huge slice of what I can't change. And I wonder if the dad in the story underwent the same transformation.